It is now 7 o'clock and this meeting is in order. If you would join in standing and doing the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started with the meeting, is there anyone here that would like to speak on any topic that is not on today's agenda? Oh, I'm sorry, we need to do the roll call. Jeremy?
Kenjuk?
Yes.
Hauser?
Yes.
Jones?
Here. Yes.
Bachman?
Yes.
Boletich?
Here.
Campbell? Hardin?
Yes.
Murphy?
Here.
Stone?
Here. Okay. Now we can do the public comment. Anyone here would like to speak on any topic that's not on today's agenda? Okay. Rose, is anyone online?
No one's online.
Thank you. Okay. Before we do get started, I would like to make an announcement. We have, or I should say the mayor has appointed a new member to the Planning Commission. Her name is Jenna Campbell. She is not here today because she is finishing up her maternity leave, but she will be here at the very next meeting. I talked with her and she is quite excited to get started, and I think she'll bring a lot of technical expertise to the commission. So we welcome her and look forward to her joining us soon. Next item is the approval of the minutes. Commissioners, do you have any comments on the minutes from the last meeting? No comments. I would like to add one statement to the agenda, and that is going to be, I'm sorry, not to the agenda, but to the meeting minutes. That would be under section 6A, which was the consideration for 134 South Main site plan approval. I'd like to just add a statement that says the framing for the roof was completed on March 18th, 2026. 2 days prior to the revised plans being review completed by the planner. Would anybody like to make a motion?
So moved.
With the added statement?
Yes.
Okay. Second, please.
I'll second.
All right. Commissioner Berletich made the motion and Mayor Jones did the second. And roll call, please.
Kenjuk?
Yes.
Hauser?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Bachman?
Yes.
Boletich?
Yes.
Hardin?
Yes.
Murphy?
Yes.
Stone?
Yes.
Okay. All right. There are no public hearings today, so we'll move straight to number 6, considerations. The first item on the agenda is a site plan approval and special request review for 320, is it 322 and 326 Albertson? Okay. Before, not yet, we can see that the applicant is here in the audience, so we'll start with the planner. Ms. Morgan, if you can do your review, please.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I will just note there were a couple of minor errors in my letter, so I'll point those out as I go through, but this is a preliminary plan review for a special project. As a reminder, it's a special project, not a special exception. So those special projects are in the special project area as defined by the master plan. So we're looking for that flexibility as well as consistency with the master plan. This specific site has an underlying zoning of light industrial within an otherwise residential area. So that special project does allow it to be something other than residential, you know, in use, but should be consistent with the character of the area. And we're looking at, you know, allowing for not just that light industrial use. If I'm seeing some confused faces, but hopefully that makes sense. But so essentially all of that is to say the special project area and that review is to look and see that this is compatible with the surrounding area, kind of based on consistency with the master plan and consistency with qualities, and will have a positive general impact on the area. So, you know, the review does indicate that this is a low impact use, that it would be consistent with the goals of the master plan and with the character of the area. based on our interpretation. Our first comment, the location map included in the site plan actually is correct, so that's the first error. There was, the printed version that I received looked a little weird, but upon checking the digital version in the packet, it is completely fine. We will work with the applicant also to make sure that the two lots that the improvements are occurring on have been combined would be the ideal. So that is something that can occur outside of this review process, but is something that we like to see. The parking and bicycle parking shown are compliant with the requirements of the Health and Fitness Center, which is the use type. New signage shown is compliant with the signage standards of the district, and any additional signage should receive an administrative review. Scroll down. Narrative provided indicates that there's no exterior lighting will be provided, except the site plan include a photometric plan, and lighting, both existing and new lighting are shown. So we would like the narrative to be updated to make sure that we understand the lighting that is being provided on the site and that currently exists on the site, especially given the character of the surrounding residential area, and make sure that that lighting is consistent with section 2306 of the zoning ordinance. Additional details about the existing fence should be provided to ensure sufficient screening. We'd like a clarification of the intended hours of operation and generally anticipated appointment lengths to understand vehicle trip generation, at least at a high level, not necessarily requiring a chip generation study, but just to make sure that it won't be an intensive use. Additional information related to the proposed green wall and intended maintenance plan, as well as the proposed mural. I don't know if we want to scroll down and look at those, but there are some interesting facade design elements that are compliant with the ordinance, but we do like to make sure that they are appropriate in content, as well as that there is consideration for maintenance of any landscaping moving forward. I think it's a couple more pages. So that green wall is what we're referring to. Then a mural planned as well. So just making sure that those have been fully considered for long-term maintenance. And the detail, please provide details showing the proposed screening materials for the relocated refuse area. Again, for consistency with the surrounding uses, and please provide information on landscaping maintenance as irrigation is not indicated on the plans. Some additional information associated with the special projects approval standards would be a statement indicating the applicant's ownership or leasehold interest should be included in the application. The narrative associated with the application should clearly state the anticipated employment generation. I know that the plans did indicate 4 employees, but just some additional clarification on the structure of that work, and again, relating to sort of comings and goings and impact on the surrounding area. And then information showing the project's impact on the surrounding area, including but not limited to parking, traffic infrastructure, and neighboring properties should be included. Currently, the narrative just describes it as low impact, which may not be inaccurate, but we would just like to clarify some details before moving on to the complete special projects review. I'm so happy to work with them for additional details associated with that moving into the more complete review. But in general, those are the preliminary comments for the GH Longevity Center. And in general, we do recommend that it is moved forward into a public hearing.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions? Ms.
Yeah, it was my understanding that those 2 addresses were remaining R1, with the industrial being the special exception.
So they're in the special projects area, which essentially means that they could be any use if you find it appropriate for the surrounding area.
Right.
So,
But the zoning didn't change from it's always been R1, and it hasn't changed to industrial.
Maybe I am mistaken about the map, and honestly, it doesn't really matter because of the way that the special project designation works. I mean, I understand, but, so I may have misspoken.
In the long term,
but-
I think it's very important that it is designated R1, whatever the use is, that industrial opens up a whole area of uses that would be permitted.
Sure, and I may have misspoken
Okay.
or looked at the map wrong, so, big picture, the important thing would be that it is in that special projects, designation.
It's currently R1 and it remains
Right.
R1.
That was one of the, if I may, Mr. Chairman, that was one of the discussion points with property owners, that they wanted it to go to industrial to reflect what was there, and there was pushback, but the master plan, this is,
Right.
although he's right, it doesn't matter with the special project, it doesn't matter what the underlying zoning is, but you're right, for the record, it's single family, it never had got to industrial. So,
Right.
okay.
And I'm
Thank you.
very sorry for
Yeah,
misspeaking.
no, thank you very much.
And just as clarification, the proposed zoning changes have not yet been approved.
Correct.
Okay, so it is what it used to be.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Great. Applicants, if you would step forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
We have handouts. Everybody, we did make quite a few copies, so if there are enough copies, so everybody's okay to share. One for the front table here, and then two, a letter and a staple.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is Tara Nabity. I'm very excited to be here this evening. I'd like to thank the commissioners for thoroughly reviewing our proposal for the Longevity Center at 326 Alberton. As of February 23rd, 2026, we entered into a purchase agreement with the current owners, Jeff and Kim Russell. Our intent is to purchase and thoughtfully renovate the property. The completion of this purchase remains contingent upon obtaining the necessary special project and city approvals. The building currently sits on two separate lots. We would like to revisit the request to combine the two lots into one single parcel after the purchase completion. I've brought with me today my husband and business partner, Dr. Tom Nabity. Tom is a regenerative and longevity medicine specialist, and he will be the medical director of our facility.
Hi, everyone. Tara and I both live in Rochester. We're on Inglewood. So our investment in this business in our hometown is really important to us. I guess before we get into the presentation, just wanted to touch base a little bit, maybe where I think Commissioner left off. We are the same business that was looking at moving into the location on Main Street back last fall, September, November timeline. After getting city approval, we never heard back from the landlord. The next step was for him to present us with a lease and start negotiating lease terms. Reach out to him, never got called back. We happened to be out walking our dogs, walked by the Albertson property, reached out to Jeff and Kim, who just happened to be our back door neighbors, and it's led us to here today. And we couldn't be more excited about this being an even better location for us to place this business. So I guess with that, let's get into the presentation. And no, thank you.
Thank you.
There we go.
Okay, so as you can see from the two photos, our project really transforms the existing commercial space into a modern health and wellness facility. The facility will be designed to enhance the beautification of Rochester along with the Paint Creek Trail and add long-term value to the neighborhood. Along with the updates to the exterior of the main building, we will also be making updates to the exterior storage shed sitting west of the main building. Our plans include updated paint, black metal roof, new door, update the existing light fixture, and update the landscape. We are very excited about our landscaping. Our Our overall goal is to create a cohesive luxury landscape. Our landscaping goals for the property include reducing concrete surfaces, incorporating low maintenance of turf and plants that require zero irrigation, decorative planters, evergreen hedging along the existing fence lines on the east and north sides of the property, and exhibit greenery walls on the east and west sides of the building. Our original site plan showed a mural on the west wall.
Bottom left corner.
Bottom left corner. We feel the greenery wall will be a better complement to the surrounding landscape. The greenery walls on the east and west ends of the building will be displayed as a high-end architectural feature. We plan to use maintenance-free, UV-resistant, and fire-rated panels mounted to a frame. And I provided the source. The greenery wall that we're using was designed by a famous award-winning horticulturist, so we're really excited for those walls. The screening and privacy surrounding the property. On the east side of the building, there is an existing 8-foot cedar fence for which a landscaping will be updated and maintained. On the north side of the property, a tree-lined chain link fence, as well as the building itself, provides adequate screening, and landscaping will be updated and maintained. The refuse area, right now, if you walk up onto the property from the Paint Creek Trail, that's one of the first things you see. We will be relocating it to the west side of the property, out of sight, and screening around the refuse will be placed. We plan on using a high-end, low-maintenance Trex composite for the screening. Exterior lighting, I know that was mentioned in the letter. So we are replacing the current fixtures. Fixtures are located no closer than 5 feet from the property line. Light fixtures will be downward facing and shielded, minimizing forward facing spillover and reducing overall light pollution.
So I'll take the part where we talk about the services. Longevity, health. If you think about the term healthcare, unfortunately it's such a ubiquitous term that gets used loosely. And right now I would say our current healthcare system is a pretty darn good sick care system. If you're sick, you need a place to go. You need a hospital, you need a doctor's office, you might need medications. But I feel like our current healthcare system really falls short in providing a well care treatment. Where do you go to stay healthy? Where do you get to get even healthier? Health optimization. And this is really what the Longevity Center is going to focus on. In order to accomplish those goals, we're going to use advanced testing, blood markers, stool testing, looking at gut microbes and gut health, other metrics like DEXA scans, which break down body mass into how much of it's muscle, how much of it's bone, how much of it's fat. Caloric testing using a device that measures how well your body exchanges carbon dioxide and oxygen to calculate something called a resting metabolic rate, basically how many calories you're burning at rest, as well as your VO2 max, how at max capacity, how much can your body exchange carbon dioxide and oxygen. Those measurements are important tools to monitor over time, and instead of waiting until lab markers look at outside the normal range until your inability to exchange carbon dioxide gets outside the normal range, and then intervening with heroic measures. If we can measure and monitor those and start to see trends, we can implement earlier strategies to keep you at the peak performance levels. In addition to medical services, prescribed movement, exercise is a very important part of longevity. Socialization, as you'll see in the slides, common socialization spaces, places for people to connect, like-minded, like-visioned, people who have similar priorities is going to be an important part of this facility as well. Lifestyle and just overall general longevity coaching. There's just a lot that goes into living a life at an optimal level, and we incorporate licensed nutritionists, physical therapists, other movement specialists, psychologists who are trained as all part of that longevity team. Skip the blueprint, but basically the layout of the facility will allow for those services to all be rendered in one location rather than having to go to various different facilities to get all of those services, you can go to your Longevity Health Center and get everything in one stop. So the reception lounge area is that inviting and social space. As you walk in, the reception decks will be to your right with a large open lobby with tables and couches and coffee bar and places for people to connect and socialize. Our DEXA RMR VO2 Max room will be a separate room. This is an example of what the DEXA machine looks like. And again, it's a very low dose radiation, X-ray. State law doesn't require any kind of lead lining or anything to the room because the radiation level is so low. And it breaks down the body composition, like I mentioned earlier, how much of it's muscle, how much of it's bone, how much of it's fat. Helps us monitor those. And one of the fat breakdowns, you get various, arm breakdown, trunk breakdown, and then this visceral fat is a big measurement that should be monitored over time, highly associated with metabolic disorders. Our prescribed movement space will involve specific exercises based on those test results, on where you should be spending your time, how much of it doing resistance training, how much of it doing cardiovascular training. There's various different zones for cardiovascular training, and every client gets a specified program that's then monitored with movement exercise specialists in a semi-private, private group setting. We will have locker rooms for our clients to change. Clean, functional space for our members. Includes lockers, vanity, private showers. Entering into our wellness space, it will be very spa-like. There'll be a separate entrance. We'll have our spa reception. There you can change into your robes. We'll have refreshments. Big part of our recovery services and longevity modalities, treatments that you can get will be our contrast therapy suites, including infrared saunas, cold plunges, and private showers. So all clients will have privacy to receive those services within a private suite. In addition to the contrast therapies, the other modality type services we'll be offering include red light beds, electromagnetic energy therapy, neurological desensitization rooms to help reduce neurological noise, and stretching physical therapy rooms. And then we'll have our somewhat of a flex space, but we'll use this for our team meetings and our client meetings. So when you have your quarterly, each of our clients have quarterly meetings with their team, myself, as well as the nutritionist, movement specialist, and anyone else involved in their longevity care sitting around a single table. And each client gets a report and their next goals for the next 3 months, what their prescribed treatments are going to be. This is a picture of that, what we anticipate that separate entrance to look like for the recovery space. And I'll let Tara talk about our impact on the community.
So our center will create professional employment positions that include front desk and client services, as well as health coaches that are certified trainers and nutritionists. All work is appointment-based around our business hours, which I'm going to go through on the next slide here. I know there were some questions about that. The building location allows us to operate within the existing rhythm of the neighborhood. Most of the business traffic will flow in the same direction as pedestrian and school-related activity. Vehicle flow is staggered throughout the day, resulting in light, manageable traffic that can be fully accommodated by the existing approved parking. Our business hours are Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. It does close down from 1:30 to 4:30, and then we'll open again from 4:30 to 6:30. Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., and we are closed on Sundays. A little cut off there, but we believe our proposed use represents a substantial positive enhancement to the surrounding neighborhood, bringing innovative wellness services to Rochester while operating as a thoughtful, low-impact, appointment-only facility with minimal traffic, manageable parking, and meaningful property improvements that contribute to the long-term beauty and vitality of the community. That's it. Thank you for
Thank you.
listening.
Mr. Bandit, considering that this is a consideration, there's no public comment typically? Okay. Then, commissioners, any questions or follow-up? Mr. Berlitich?
What is the parking situation?
So I've also brought our architect with us from SMA. He's here to help answer any questions about the site plan. As far as we submitted, there are enough spaces to handle our flow of traffic, our members. I believe it was on the last slide. All sessions are typically 45 to 50 minutes and average 4 to 6 members plus 1 to 2 staff. I believe we're currently at 19 spaces on the property.
We'll just add they do comply with the use type, which seems sufficient based on the scheduling of appointments.
I like the greenery walls. Is that a finished product we're looking at, or it was complete coverage? Is that something that has to grow in, or
So.
was that a natural thing? Oh, it's not, okay.
It's not natural,
Okay.
they're artificial green walls. I did provide this source, if anyone wants to look this up. This company sources greenery walls around the world. A famous horticulturist designed these plants to look very lifelike and real-like.
Well, you fooled me,
You
so.
can put flowers in them, you can do all kinds of beautiful designs that require zero irrigation, zero maintenance. They're UV resistant and fire rated, so they look beautiful.
It's a nice touch.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr.
Ms.
Chair,
Murphy?
just the, I noticed the traffic pattern was a left off of Rochester onto Albertson, and I think that's technically allowed. However, I don't know, have you done that?
So I believe the map we pulled up was a school traffic map.
Okay.
We do understand, we live on the other side of
Yeah,
Rochester
right.
Road. so
Yeah, you get,
we know
yeah.
that turn well, you cannot turn left there. I
Yeah.
believe this was a school
Oh, okay.
traffic
Okay,
pattern map
yeah.
that I was showing,
It's
so.
just, yeah, if you
yes.
were directing anybody that way, they
Correct, yes.
might want to come somewhere else, so.
Okay. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, I have just a couple questions. Your renderings show a lovely parking lot, and I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what your plans are for that. Are you resurfacing, or?
Yes.
We are planning on resurfacing, and there are some, if you've been close to the property, the curb is sort of crumbled in, but we want to revamp everything, make it look new and fresh and
Okay.
safe.
Have you talked to the city manager about the curbs? 'Cause there's probably 100 feet that's completely deteriorated on the street curbs.
Correct, yes, that is something, we have talked to a few contractor companies, and they're aware that we need to get in touch with the city about the curbing and what's needed and that kind of thing.
Any comment from the city on that? Is that something the city is willing to do?
Don't even know yet, but we'll get an engineering review, take the planning review, so a little premature.
Thank you.
All right, I do have a couple of questions myself. First of all, on the landscape drawing, it does show a requirement for irrigations, and you said there will not be any irrigation for any part of the facility, so that's something that needs to be clarified. And then secondly, the refuse enclosure, Mr. Bandit, if you correct me if I'm wrong, but Don't we typically require that those enclosures need to be reflective or made of the same materials as the rest?
No, we actually, the Plan Commission about 2 years ago switched that to allow it to be complementary, so they're fine.
Okay, very good. And then the other thing is, in the landscape plan, it does show arborvitae surrounding the refuse plan, but in your rendering here, you did not. So again, are you going to be planting arborvitae around the enclosure?
Is
or
that this photo here? Or which photo are you referring to?
The trash.
Oh,
the trash?
It's the Trex one?
Yes, there you go.
So this, we're focusing on the Trex material, not the landscaping.
Okay, but there will be landscaping.
Around, correct.
Okay, very good.
Mr. Chair, just a couple more questions. More, I think, for the city manager or the planner. We spent a lot of time with zoning code related to retail and industrial. I know this is legal non-conforming industrial use and residential, but I saw some retail space planned. What do we need to consider for that, if anything?
Yeah, I didn't see any retail in there, but I'm assuming it would be incidental to what they're doing, so.
So there is no retail
didn't
space.
think so.
I'm not sure which slide indicate. Oh, so complimentary water and coffee. There is no retail space though.
Nice. Maybe that's my mistake. I thought I'd seen some area where there was some items for sale.
So here we have the complimentary robes, towels, and slippers, and then again, the refrigerator just has complimentary refreshments. But we're not selling anything.
If you look on the drawings, there is a place that says merchandise information display. I think, was that the one that caught you?
Thank you, yes.
Yeah, so there is a label that says merchandise. It's just to the left of the reception desk when you walk in. This would be on drawing A101, sheet 1, proposed floor plan.
I'm guessing it's that one.
Yeah, again, as part of a special project.
Right,
You
no.
can define that. If it was a store coming from the outside, that would be different, but
I think the question, I don't want to read into your mind or anything, but I think the question is based on all the issues that we had on South Street, and if they have to come in and do anything, if it's a percentage based, I think, I don't know, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Is that what you're asking for, just to make sure that they're in conformance?
Yeah, I just want to set this up properly, to the extent there's some level of retail merchandising.
that's put that in their business plan, and then that would be part of the special project.
You got it. Okay.
And then maybe I'm misplacing, my memory's not good, but that may be the case. Did we used to have sustainability grids for these special projects?
Well, not necessarily for special projects, for large-scale projects. NVIDIA had put in writing a few months back that not every single one has to go through sustainability, but certainly the traffic, maybe not a full traffic study, but the traffic impact certainly.
Yeah, because this is an existing building, it'd be very difficult to require them to meet those sustainability standards, so that is why that revision was done previously. So we'll kind of go through a revised version to make sure that it's not an unduly, an unjust requirement, given the fact that they're reusing a building.
Thank you.
If at this time there's no further questions or comments, do I hear a motion? The motion would be to
Set the public.
approve the project for site plan and special project status.
So moved.
And the public hearing. We have to set the public
And
hearing.
set the, yes, thank you.
So moved.
Second. Okay.
Do we set that date now?
Next available, so we normally say to make sure we have everything.
All right, roll call, please.
Kenjuk,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Bachman,
Yes.
Boatich.
Yes.
Harden,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, just so we know, the neighborhood will be notified, all that good stuff, so no surprise, I think you start canvassing the neighborhood a little bit, but we'll make sure everybody knows, because again, this is a special project, so very important that we communicate with the neighbors, let them know what's going on, because the history here has been pretty intense, so we don't want anybody to not think that we're doing this full transparency, so.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda is consideration for 824 Miller Road, a site plan review for the existing natural gas regulator station. I believe we have some representatives from Consumers Energy here in the audience. You don't need to come up yet. I just want to verify you're here. Okay. Before they come and talk about the project, can we hear from Ms. Morgan?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
So this is not a public hearing, I just want to make everybody aware. We submitted the public hearing request to the newspaper. I got confirmation that would be on time, and then a day and a half after, they emailed me and said that they messed up and did not put it in the right paper. So the applicant's aware, they have to go to the ZBA next month, or at the end of this month anyway, so they're not losing too much time, so there'll be a public hearing in June.
Okay.
So just want to make clear.
So this is basically an update.
Correct, just a consideration still.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Peckins, for clarifying that. So this is a secondary preliminary review addressing some of the comments from the last meeting. So again, this is the Miller and Parkdale Regulator Station with the Consumers Energy applying. This is a special exception given the definition of an essential service within a residential district. So the proposed plans comply with the dimensional standards for the R1 district that this is located in. The proposed setbacks comply with the standards set out in section 2000 of the zoning ordinance. However, based on the ordinance's definition of a yard, the heater is technically will be considered a customary yard accessory or ornament. This has only been included in the letter to make sure that we are clarifying that because this is located within the setback, this is considered a customary yard accessory or ornament specifically for this use and not creating a precedent to allow something like that in the future. It doesn't pose any safety standard or safety concern, rather, given the fact that there is a gravel drive the full length for accessing anything within the site, and it's not within the front yard. So again, no safety concern associated with it. We did just want to call out the fact that, that's how we're defining it to say that it is okay to occur within the setback in this case. Plans have also been updated to indicate the height of the proposed remote telemetry unit, which has an average height of 6 feet, with the light fixture extending to 9 feet, which complies with the district height limitations of 15 feet. The structure proposed on the site is 14 feet by 20 feet. The plans have been updated to indicate that the structure's facade will be a whitewashed brick, more consistent with the character of the surrounding neighborhood, and the plans indicate that the structure is approximately 10 feet 6 inches high, which complies with the dimensional standards of the district. As we discussed last time, the plans do propose an ornamental fence that's 8 feet tall at the front of the parcel, which, as Mr. Peckins mentioned, they will be attending the Zoning Board of Appeals for later this month. Because this is, for safety, that fence, it seems justifiable. The location of the front fence is also within the setback, which technically requires a variance. It specifies no fence over 18 inches tall in height shall be constructed nearer to the street than the front building lines as established by the zoning ordinance, unless on a corner parcel. But otherwise, the design of the fence is perfectly acceptable. Per section 2804, the wall at the rear fulfills the requirements for screening wall between the residential and non-residential uses. However, the Planning Commission must officially approve the use of the concrete wall indicated on sheet C2529 SAD 09 of the plans, as masonry is required by the ordinance, but the ordinance also allows you to give this official approval if the design as shown is a man-made feature that would produce substantially equivalent results of screening and durability. Given the discussion last time, it seemed like the design was generally along the lines of what you had discussed. And if we could scroll down to maybe pull that up. I know that the plans indicate that it is just a sample, but I believe based on the letter provided that this is the intended design, but that could be clarified by the applicant. Yes, so. again, not technically consistent with the ordinance, but the ordinance does directly allow for you to approve that wall design. The landscaping, it was clarified from the previous review that regular maintenance and replacement of the plantings would be identified and carried out by the property owner as needed to ensure the site's consistent appearance. So even though irrigation isn't provided, there will be ongoing maintenance and a watering plan, I believe, for the first 2 years to ensure that those plants are watered to maturity, which is an acceptable standard. The only proposed signage is a no trespassing / danger sign, which is compliant with the sign standards, but any additional signage would require an administrative approval. There were some questions about the access and circulation, which have been clarified from the original letter. So there is that gate at the side that will open entirely within the parcel. The concrete driveway is proposed leading from the front gate to the roadway. Beyond the gate, the drive will be gravel, which is sufficient to meet the needs of the periodic use by maintenance vehicles. And the existing sidewalk will be maintained in the front of the parcel with the poured concrete passing from the gate to the roadway as discussed in the previous meeting. There is one parking space provided, which is sufficient for the use. And the lighting plan proposes a light fixture on the front and rear sides of the building to be operated with a switch. The updated plans provide additional details of those lighting fixtures, indicating that they will be downward facing and equipped with shields to prevent the bulbs from being visible on the sides and creating an issue with light trespass. So based on those updates, we do recommend that this is approved for a public hearing to be scheduled again.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions, any comments?
Jeremy has,
All right.
Jeremy had something.
Yes, Jeremy.
They did submit the sound test or sound study that you guys had requested. They submitted it today, so that will be included in the next review. I just wanted to let you know that
Okay,
that
thank
was
you.
received today.
Okay.
I do have.
Yes, sir.
Can you confirm that they've reached out to the residents, particularly the one who came to the last meeting, or that at least notice will be provided to the property owners adjacent to this so they are aware of the next hearing?
Yeah, so we did I don't know if they had reached out to him prior to the meeting. Or,
You do?
I have not reached out. He has not reached out to me. I did send out the letter for the public hearing notice to the 300.
That's,
Yep.
okay.
And then I resent it out to push it to next month a few days later. So that one has already been noticed twice. So.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Banda, I guess the question is, if we already approved this once for a public hearing, do we need to approve it again? We should. Okay. I guess at this time, anyone would like to make a motion?
Mr. Chair, do you intend to bring the applicant up to speak?
Do we need to?
But
Do we
if any-
need to?
Well, I'll give you the opportunity. Is there anything that you'd like to update us on, please? Thank you.
Good evening, Amy Gilpin, Consumers Energy, One Energy Plaza, Jackson, Michigan. Thanks for having us back. We are excited to be here to talk to you again about the Miller and Parkdale Regulator Station, which is an existing regulator station at the 824 Miller Avenue location. We did make some changes to the plans since we were here last, as she mentioned. Very thorough, so thank you for that. The wall has changed, and we did send, I think it was 8 examples to the neighbors. We sent out one of our field agents to speak with the neighbors. They came back they agreed on the top 2, and so the one that we chose is the one that the neighbors were happy with as well. And it's going to be an 8-foot concrete wall, and it'll be, like mentioned, in the side yards and on the rear. And yep, that's the ornamental. I think it's on that page, it's over, yeah. Yep, right there. Yeah, so that was the one that was chosen with neighbor input, as I mentioned. And then in the front, we're gonna have the ornamental fence, which is also 8 foot, and that's the example there. We did move we have the two plans, two site plans in your packet. It's one showing a 6-foot fence and one showing an 8-foot fence.
Both show an 8-foot.
Okay, sorry.
Both show an 8-foot
Both show
fence.
8-foot fence.
The first one shows the fence, the front fence
Yes.
outside the setback, which was why we would need a variance. The alternate shows it within or back beyond the setback. That is the one we're gonna go with. We are gonna go with that. We said, well, we have to go for a variance anyways, but we just moved it back just to avoid 2 variances. We're just gonna go for 1, so.
Yes. What he said? No, thank you. I'm getting my projects mixed up. So that is, so that's the plan there. So we're only gonna need a variance then for the height, not the location. And then with the landscaping, we did add landscaping to this site. And our site layout standards call for an open view into our facilities. And that just allows for, that allows for neighbors to be able to see in and alert us to anything that they see that might be happening in there. If there's somebody in there that shouldn't be in there, that type of thing. It also allows our crews to be able to keep a visual on the site as well while they're working. So the landscaping that is chosen, they are drought-resistant plants, and they're gonna be low profile. We chose 4 dwarf forsythias, 7 junipers, and 13 switchgrass. The landscape buffer area is about 15 feet near the driveway, and it's about 20 feet towards the north there. There will be stone and landscape fabric as well. Our contractor is responsible for maintaining the landscaping for 2 years. So they're responsible for keeping those plants alive for the first 2 years. And then the driveway, we do have crew members checking on the site periodically, typically once a week. They come in a pickup truck typically. The only other type of vehicle other than during construction that you may see there is like a delivery truck. So we did make the driveway cement there in the front up to the swing gate. And then after that, it is the 21 AA crushed limestone for the driveway surface, and then, inside the fence or the wall area. And then the rest of the site inside the walled area will be the 6 AA limestone. The building, we're gonna remove the existing building and construct the 14 by 20 building. It will have the full brick siding now. It's a whitewash Nichiha vintage brick. There's no water or sewer in this building. It's just an enclosure for the equipment. It's not an office space or anything like that. We did also include the lighting plan. There are 2 lights that are going to be proposed there on the building that are downward directed, switch operated. They will only be on while crew members are on the site. And then the 3rd light was added there to the RTU rack that's in that center. And that also is downward directed. The RTU is, just to kind of get into the equipment again that's on the site, we have that RTU that we monitor the gas pressures and the gas pressure at the site, and it gets transmitted remotely to Consumers Energy where it's monitored there. And so that's what the RTU does. So that's what that middle piece of equipment is. And then the other things that we have is the filter separator and the heater. The filter separator, which is in the top right corner, that removes contaminants from the gas. And then the heater heats the gas and removes condensation and that type of thing in the gas lines. The heater is only running in the winter time or during really cold weather. So if it's in the summer, you're not going to ever hear that. And that was the purpose for the sound study that Row Professional just finished today and submitted. So you should have that report to look at, and Doug's happy to talk about it too if you have any questions. So in closing, we're just looking to be put on your next public hearing agenda. So, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick heads up, don't order that ornamental fence because you can't have points on the fence in Rochester. So it can be flat, but just a heads up, because that's a pretty fence, and a lot of them come that way, but it's something gets impaled on there, it's not good, so.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I guess then at this point, we'll ask the commissioners any further follow-up questions.
Mr. Chair, I do have a couple questions.
Yes, Mr. Bachman.
Thank you. I really appreciated the chair giving Mr. Sherry, your neighbor, the opportunity to speak, even though it wasn't a public hearing. And I had some concerns about some things that he said, in particular maintaining the property. And if I think I heard you correctly, there's not going to be any grass on this lot anymore. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And is it the heater, is that the only equipment that's of concern related to the decibel level?
Yes.
Just the heater, okay. It wasn't clear, I think, is it Anthony, is that your name? Anthony. I think when I was reviewing your commentary, it wasn't clear to me that the heater is required. Is that something you want to put on, or is that a requirement for this demand?
Anthony Stepke, Consumers Energy. I think, this question came up last meeting, but yes, it is a requirement of engineering based on the gas flow that the station puts through to the medium pressure distribution system. And once it gets to a certain delivery amount, they have to add a heater, and it's to prevent freeze up on the pipe, as Amy had mentioned, in the winter months when the demand is really high, and temperatures drop in the actual gas temperatures. That heater kicks on and keeps the pressure above freezing, so you don't have that condensation on the pipe, and then therefore eventually builds up frost, and that travels down the pipe. And we've had issues in different areas in the state where it basically will cause frost heave in sidewalks and roadways, and that's what that's for. It's to prevent damages to the public sidewalks and roads.
Okay, so I think you made it pretty clear this is necessary, required because of the demand coming out of this station. All right, what temperature does that kick on approximately?
It kicks on, I think it's 34 degrees. This is gas temperature, not ambient temperature. So gas is the temperature in the pipe. We have a temperature sensor that's inside that building that monitors the temperature of the gas downstream of the regulation cut, which there's also a temperature drop associated with pressure cut. And so once it gets to a level that's close to freezing, the heater automatically kicks on, and then it heats it up until sufficient temperature is met, and then it shuts off automatically.
Okay, so it's going to be on a lot, I think is.
Most likely it's going to be on in the winter. Typically you'd see that probably in the colder months, like January, February, and it's on off only as needed.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you 70% of the time. It depends on the day, the use, all of that.
Well, okay, so 2 nuisance mitigation requests, maybe not to answer today, just to consider for the public hearing. One is the noise. I haven't seen the decibel report, but presuming it's 72 decibels, as you said, Mr. City Manager, louder than a lawnmower, that could be a nuisance. I don't know if there's any mitigation that you could add to the property. I'm sure the concrete wall is going to help. The other thing is, there was some discussion about odor. We talked about, I think, the Sheldon Road, maybe it's the Sheldon Road.
Dutton Road.
Or Dutton Road facility, where you're adding the odor.
Yes.
But Mr. Shelley indicated
there's a pretty regular odor coming from the property. Is there any mitigation that can be done for that?
Yeah, and part of this project is to address that. So in the past, one of the ways, we're mandated by the state for different things, and one of the things is overpressure protection. And so old systems have like a relief valve to essentially maintain the pressures you need. So if it does climb too high, it does relieve the pressure in the pipes, and that's what that whiff of gas is. The system we're putting in now is a worker monitor system, so it handles all of that without releasing gas. There's 2 regulators on each run, and one takes over if there is a overpressure event. So it doesn't like poof out gas like he was mentioning. It's a new updated design that we have now that wasn't, 50, 60 years ago, they didn't have that system available.
So Mr. Shelley shouldn't be smelling these odors on account of the new equipment?
Yes, it's a different system that's being used to essentially protect from any sort of overpressure event. On the medium pressure system, which is, like I think I mentioned before, was the lines that run to someone's house or business before it gets to the meter on the side of your house. So it's the 50-pound system. So.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, I'll just kind of go down the aisle here. Mr. Hardin, any questions?
No.
Mr. Hauser?
No, sir.
Mayor Jones? No. Mr. Stone?
No.
Ms. Murphy? Mr. Burlitich? Okay, then I guess we're all set. Then the motion would be basically to approve the site plan and set this for the next available public hearing, subject to the clarifications that are requested by the planner. Anyone like to
Moved.
make the motion?
Yeah, yep.
Mr. Hauser?
There you go.
Second, please.
Second.
Mr. Burlitich, roll call, please.
Kenjuk,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Bachman,
Yes.
Burlitich,
Yes.
Hardin,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is miscellaneous. We've got a couple of updates regarding some of the subcommittees. I'll start with Mr. Bachman. Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you've been doing?
Sure. So this is related to the special committee to recommend bylaws, amendments, and an education program onboarding and continuing for the Planning Commission. Members include Mayor Debbie Jones, Council Member Planning Commission, Vice Chair Christian Hauser, Planning Commission Chair Rich Kenjuk, he's the ex officio member, and myself, being lucky enough to be named first to the committee, that gives me the privilege of chairing it and doing all the notes. Or excuse me, the minutes. And there was 16 pages of minutes created in just the one meeting that we had, because there was about 2 dozen motions. So what we've done, and I want to thank Councilmember Hauser for donating some of his professional resources to accumulate bylaws of neighboring communities. We've got Rochester Hills, Troy, Lake Orion, Novi, Bloomfield Hills, Royal Oak, I think are including us, that makes 7. So we've done a comparison of all these, and Finance Director Maggio, we can thank him for the AI analysis and comparative analysis of all 7 of those bylaws, which one of the committee members used to craft sort of a red line document to work with that would lead the committee to these recommended bylaws amendments. And then another committee member did a more traditional comparative analysis to create a similar independent red line document. Mr. Hauser, I think you commented over email that perhaps 80% of the, planned recommendations from that initial process are aligned. So the committee started off in a good place. All the members had a chance to review those documents. And we basically just went paragraph by paragraph, using those 2 initial drafts of, red line proposed amendments to compare back to the existing bylaws. Many of the changes are going to end up being administrative. Some of them are organizational to make the bylaws read a little bit better, and some of them are sort of essential, meaning, we've been operating for some years in discord with our bylaws and rules of procedure. And so we're going to fix that, which I think at least to a degree, reduces the risk to the planning commission and city, so that we're, following our own processes and procedures. Things like, referencing, the appropriate legislative act as opposed to, currently that references an act that was repealed in 2008, things like that. So those are the things that we're looking at doing. We've had a meeting, I mentioned we had about 24 motions, and that got us through about 4 sections of the bylaws. We expect approximately 8 sections total, so we're about halfway done. We've got a meeting on, I believe it's May 14th, which I was notified probably needs to be changed. We'll get something else on the books. We should be able to complete the process of updating or creating that final amendment recommendation for our bylaws. At that meeting, we'll have a final meeting May 27th to sort of wrap up and complete the recommendation for an education, onboarding, and continuing education program for the Planning Commission. And then we'll report as planned. In the special committee's creation, we were tasked with reporting at the June Planning Commission meeting. So we're on track for that.
Thank you. Mr. Hardin, would you like to talk about the work your committee's doing?
Yeah, sure. So we met for the first time last Monday. Included Commissioner Berletich, Kenjuk, Hauser, and myself. Although I think, Christian, you've been swapped out for our new Commissioner Campbell, which should be a great addition to the committee, given what she does day in and day out for her 9 to 5 as an architect. Pretty applicable to the conversation surrounding design standards and also some of the process improvements that we're looking to make from some of her clients that she's seen go through the process. But had a good meeting. It was a little bit eye-opening because I think in between the setting up the committee and our first meeting, we became aware that quite a bit of the design standards that we wanted to implement were already in place in section 2118, which was good. So I printed a copy for everybody, and we kind of went through what we had. Everybody was asked to review them in depth, in detail, before our next meeting. Because in my view, from everything that we've been talking about and some of the comments and issues that we've seen in the past, we're probably 80% of the way there with what we have. There needs to be some changes made to it to update it and modernize it for what we're seeing today. But there's a lot of good content there already that just needs to be, again, kind of modified and modernized for what we see today. We talked quite a bit about the process improvements, and they really all seem to be, well, not all, but the majority of them seem to be centered around the 2-step process that we have, which is what we saw twice today, which is come before the Planning Commission once, and then the Planning Commission sets the public hearing. We're very unique in that process, and in my career, I've never worked for a community or presented to a community that had that 2-step process, and I think Lori, you had kind of seconded that sentiment also. So a lot of this is centered around improving that process, and the last piece before I get to wrapping that one up was the cleaning up any contradictions or misinterpretations of the new zoning ordinance, which is kind of, or I'm sorry, the new, I guess, zoning, districts and maps. And what we started to see is that all 3 of these things have to happen concurrently in order for any one of them to be successful. I think there's a way to achieve all 3 of these things. It won't be, if you're already 50% done, you're well ahead, I think, of where we're at, but it's going to be a longer process maybe, and tying all 3 of these things together, certainly something that's achievable. I had a good conversation with Lori on Thursday about some of this stuff as well. So the one thing I will say I'd like everybody to do, and I should have printed a copy for everybody, is please, between now and the next meeting, open section 2118 of the zoning ordinance and please go through it. I would love to hear everybody else not on the committee's opinion of what's there. If you need, reach out to me. I'll send you a copy of just that section so you have it and you don't have to go looking for it. But I think we're in a good place knowing that we have a lot of what we need there already. Lori's going to start to implement, and this is going to be part of our review for June's meeting. So you'll see some of the language that's in there currently being used to review some, if there is a project in the CBD, obviously it has to be specific to CBD, but we'll get to see that starting next planning commission meeting and really see how it works and what we need to do to change it and make it better. So we need to set our next meeting, and I need to get the meeting minutes out to everybody still, but we made some good progress the first meeting. Looking forward to keeping it going and making more.
Yeah, thank you. To make it official, yes, Mr. Hauser has stepped aside when Ms. Campbell was appointed to the committee in deference to her expertise in the field. So I'd like to thank you for your cooperation and foresight there. So again, we look forward to Ms. Campbell joining us and providing her experience and helping us get along. Mr. Manager, City Manager, do you have any
Just a couple of things.
updates?
If you went on Main Street Billiards is well along the way, and it looks way better than I think a lot of people thought. The color was really nicely muted. Now they're putting the cornerstone caps on them, and it's a very nice upgrade to the facility. It's not in your face. It's very nice. And then secondly, myself and then Randy, our building official, Jeremy, we met with the owners of 134 South Main, Kentucky Fried Chicken, awning, and yes, this morning, I think, they submitted a drawing from a structural engineer that Randy requested that explained exactly why they couldn't do what they were approved to do. And as Randy was clear to them, it's an engineering issue, not a planning commission issue. So if they want to come back and ask for exactly what they have put up there, they can, but we don't care that, I shouldn't say, it's not our issue that it's going to take a little bit more money to do what we originally approved. That's on the architect. So we're continuing work with them. I don't think they'll make the next meeting. But we kept an open mind and we talked to them. Randy went on site, met with them. I did. And yeah, so we'll give you an update when they're coming back.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Stone? Go ahead.
Like whatever happened with the back of Main Street?
Yeah, so that was approved not to have to be touched.
Okay.
He didn't want to do that.
What about Dr. Atala's parking metering
So
in and out system?
Yep, so I met with him, and I don't want to say on TV, it was a good meeting. He brought in contracts that he's having a hard time getting the contractors to remove, especially the ones on the couple items on our property. But he has a different intention that he originally came here, so I don't think you're going to see him back here, quite frankly, which means everything comes out, so, on his own volition, not that we told him to do that at this point. So if he wants to modify it, he still could, but we talked about the whole circumstance of our experience in gates and systems like that, and how much of a challenge it is, and the parking structures even, that once a week, Chief George has to send somebody to replace the broken gate at $350 to $500 because people get mad and they drive through them, and lucky we have cameras there. And if people get stuck, we had a whole talk about this system. And there's another way to do a system that is much less cumbersome, pay stations. So we're looking at, the Parking Advisory Committee is going to meet, I believe, we thought it was going to meet this Thursday, they might have to push the meeting, but we're trying to be more efficient in our own system, instead of gates everywhere or meters possibly, that we could start looking at pay stations. He has the right to do that, a lot less complications. It's on him then to monitor who's inside his parking lot, not necessarily a physical structure, stopping of the people coming in and out. So MDOT has rejected the gates on the front, so we know that for a fact. So I think all that, he digested that, came in, was very open-minded, like, okay, I get it. So, we're just, right now, we put him under a time constraint to get at least the one island, our right of way out. We're just waiting for the asphalt plants to be able to backfill, because they can't leave that hole there, so. But it was a constructive meeting.
What about his cardiology building on the east side of Main Street, just south of the river there? It seems awfully empty and vacated.
It's all him, believe it or not. So that's just his space. He uses the whole building as he sees fit.
Thanks.
Just a quick question. The city gave him a time frame. Would you share what the time frame is?
As soon as we can get asphalt going. So the plant's opened last week, so as soon as they can do it. We can't leave a hole there, so.
No, I get it. I wasn't sure if the city had said, hey, by June 1st or something.
That's what we were trying, June 1st. We're actually trying May 1st, but they didn't open the plants. Usually they open them sometimes April 15th, but this year they're way, way behind.
All right.
We just got asphalt today, actually, on University, if you saw
I
it.
saw it by
So-
Yeah.
So we know now that they're
Drove through
open,
that.
so that was, in the winter, was they had to fix a water main leak there, so now we know the plants are open, so any day.
That's right. Thank you.
What about our Tide Pod Challenge building?
I haven't heard anybody call me in the last 2 months. Usually I get a call once a week, and I think the people that were looking at it kept on looking at it and have not continued to look at it. It's a very challenging site. If you want to open up a Tide or any sort of dry cleaner, it's a perfect spot.
Yeah.
Tell your neighbors.
Yeah. Thank you. Since you, we'll just do a couple more if you want. So, I know the mayor was walking on University with Bella and saw the home of the photographer that was there and saw the work being done, the stone came off, and it's kind of like, hey, shouldn't the planning commission see that? That is a home occupation, so they never came to the planning commission in the first place. That's, the guy, when he bought it, he thought he was turning into an office. He's 6 parking spaces short. We cannot support pay in lieu of there because there's no public parking anywhere near. So he has to keep it the exact same thing, live there. If you wanted a home occupation office, that's fine. So the reason he didn't have to come here for the change, he didn't like the color of the stone on the bottom, which we don't really know why. That was never a commercial building, so, yeah.
I just have a question about, so the wellness longevity place, he mentioned that the landlord,
Yeah, so the good news is, the plans came in Friday, I think Randy showed them to me, or Thursday, that they're gonna bill what they said they were gonna bill, but just not for this tenant.
Okay.
So, first they said, we don't know what we're gonna do, and then we're gonna code enforce them to tear the building down, because it's that bad, so.
Right.
Then the Rileys changed their mind and said, we're just gonna build it exactly as was approved, so.
okay, was there any explanation why?
Yeah, so post-planning commission approval, when they were working on the building plans, which is a lot more information for Randy, their architect that they were having do them had a medical emergency and had to retire as a result of it. So then they had to find a new architect in that firm to bring him up to speed and finish the plans. So it was a delay due to a medical issue with the
Okay,
architect.
I guess I was concerned that he said he never heard from them.
That was probably due to that, because it happened, I
Okay,
think,
yeah.
like the next week after they got planning commission approval.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kinda odd, but if you know the Rileys, they kinda play in their own sandbox, so.
Yeah, well, that's concerning with the building on Main Street.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So we quickly, as soon as we heard that officially they were out, we wrote them a letter and said, tear the building down, or completely redo it. You can't leave it like this anymore. It's
Yeah.
been 5 years.
They have plans to build
They
it
do.
as
As is,
presented. And
which would be great.
they have enough parking to have a retail space there too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
They went to a more intense use.
I have a
Thank
I have a question. Do we have another facade renovation going on Main Street? I think it's like 3 or 4 buildings.
Oh, that's some,
North-
Smith, you guys approved that Smith
Yeah.
Jeweler where it
I
was
was gonna
going to.
ask about that.
Mr. Collage, we don't know if that's what he's gonna do there, so he put it on hold also.
Okay.
But you guys did approve a new facade there. Yeah, okay.
They found, the Smith Jewelers, they found some issues with the second floor. It's all concrete, which was not anticipated. It's a fully poured second floor of concrete, so they can't put an internal, or they probably could, but it's very expensive to cut that and put an internal staircase, because the existing staircase is external. So they were looking to potentially come back to the planning commission, potentially, if they can't figure out that structural issue.
Mr. Hauser?
I love this part of the meeting because it's like interrogate Mr. Bando while we've got him. And this is not, I think it was either last meeting or the meeting before, and maybe it might have been city council, I'm sorry, but the building right on South Street where Fox bought,
Yes.
can you give us an update
I
on
can.
that and the blight and all
I
that other
can,
issue?
it's great. I went down there
Okay.
today's Monday. Today I went down this morning. So, on the way in from Tim Hortons, just, they have cinnamon crumble bagels in case anybody wants them, or muffins. So, anyway, so Mr. John Fox did purchase, he closed, he gave Zeph from Duval, so Zeph owns owned the property. He has the right to stay as a tenant on the first floor, under the conditions of everything has to be cleaned up. So as of last Friday, the RV's gone. All the debris around the dumpster is gone. Mr. Fox gave him 5 days to remove it, or else he was going to remove it. And it was done on the 4th day, so I assume Zeph did that. That way he could stay in the building. So it's really getting cleaned up significantly. It has been cleaned up, but especially when I went by and saw it, the RV that's been there for a long time. I
Right.
thought maybe he moved it, is gone. So we were making good progress there.
That's great. Thanks for the update. That's all I've got.
Okay.
Any further questions?
Thank you.
All right, then, any public comment, any questions from the folks in the audience regarding any subject we haven't talked about today? Step up. Your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Linda Gamage, and I live at 333 Greg's, right on the other side of the Hell Road property. So we were very interested to hear about that. But I had a question about the zoning, the proposed zoning changes that, to my knowledge, never went through final approval. So the special overlay project area, I'm not positive that that exists yet for that property.
I can answer that question if you
Thank
like.
you.
Yep, so when the master plan was approved, that kicked in that overlay zone, so it had nothing to do with zoning. So we had the exact same questions, like, hey, was that a separate item? But the attorneys and the planners all got together. When the master plan was adopted, that adopted this overlay zones, changed up 3 or 4 of them. So that is exactly legally an entity now.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions in the audience? Rose, anyone online?
No one's online.
All right, thank you. Well, it is 8:17. This meeting is over. Thank you.
Thank you.